Stewart has caught him as they work around David Gilliland and begin to pull up on Kyle Petty. Jeff, if you're in that pack, if your driver's in that pack ahead of Clint Bowyer, from J.J. Yaley back to Michael Waltrip, what are you telling him other than hope for this caution to try to help him stay on the lead lap?
Just exactly what happened right there. We got a debris caution right now on the racetrack. That's the way to hustle up there and keep us on the lead lap, driver. Good job.
I tell you, that caution was very timely for Jamie McMurray in the 26 car. He was just about to go a lap down to Clint Bowyer, but I think our leader in about another half a lap wasn't going to be Clint Bowyer. Tony Stewart was just about, I think, to get by him.
David Gilliland was the last car lapped by Bowyer before the caution, so Gilliland has the free pass. Only 2 drivers finished in the top 10 at this racetrack in both the spring and fall race last year. Kyle Busch was one. Our leader, Clint Bowyer, was the other.
Good racetrack for him. Now I think, you know, we've run about close to another 50 laps here, about 45 laps. I think we'll see these guys take advantage of this caution. And pit road will be open, so we'll know here shortly. But remember, everyone enters pit road over off of turn 2 the way this pit road is structured. 30 miles per hour pit road speed.
And Krista's right at the pit road entrance there in turn 2, right where Clint Bowyer will come to a stop. Krista.
And that is exactly what he is doing. He's bringing his Jack Daniels Chevrolet to a stop, and they are so good right now. No adjustments. Again, for the second time today, it's just 4 tires and fuel for the 07. Dick.
Jeff Burton pits out of the 5th position. He has picked up 3 spots since the drop of the green flag. Burton surely should be somebody to be watching this afternoon. He has finished 2nd twice in his last 5 starts here. He has already won in nationwide racing here at Bristol, and a nice pit stop. Steve Burns.
Kyle Busch is getting better in that 18, Dick. He says his car is just a little bit tight in the center and just a little bit loose on exit. They've made an air pressure adjustment to the rear tires of that 18. Matt.
His teammate Tony Stewart says his car rolling through the center very well. Didn't really want to make much of an adjustment, maybe slight air pressure. Kevin Harvick said his car was just way too tight in the center, really good on exit. Small air pressure adjustment for Harvick.
Now Clint Bowyer lost a lot of ground, but it wasn't because of the pit stop. He got jammed up behind the guys that were just still trying to get in their pit box. As you see right there, he's going to lose 4 positions. The real winner, that 20 car, they get their man out first.
Right, he had a very good stop, but the back of the pack working its way around at the tail end of the caution line held Bowyer back. It's a long way around pit road here. Let's go downstairs. Chris.
All right, Mike, quick AT&T race break with Jeff Hammond from the Hollywood Hotel, and a look down below at Bristol Motor Speedway. How about Greg Biffle? Came in 2nd at points, started 14th. A hot driver here. He's done well at this track. Never won, though, on a short track. Moving on up.
He's definitely moving on up. His car looks like it's working really well around the bottom of the racetrack. And the key thing is, and Larry McReynolds talked about this early on, you're going to win this race by running from the center of the turn back to the start-finish line or back to the middle of the back straightaway. That's what I'm seeing in Tony Stewart's car, Greg Biffle's car, and our former leader, Clint Bowyer. His car was working really well in that area, and that's where they're making a lot of ground right now.
And Clint Bowyer leading for the first time in 4 races at this particular track. This has been an AT&T race break, and the top 4 car numbers picked by our viewers to win today's race. Here's a look at those. Watch our pre-race coverage every week to play along, and we hope you win. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. Bobby Labonte had a tire violation on his pit stop in the outside half of the pit box, and so he will restart at the tail end of the longest line. He is on the lead lap. Brushed the wall in practice yesterday. And Casey Kane too fast exiting. He'll give up 22nd position and drop back to 33rd on this restart.
Hear anything? Nobody told me anything.
And that puts those guys in that box, because now they're going to be all the way at the back of the pack. Pretty much when Tony Stewart, well, actually Michael Waltrip's going to be leading the race here in the 55 car. When he takes the green flag,
too fast exiting tail end of the longest line.
Those guys will be a half a lap down when they take the green flag.
Let's get an overlook on these pit stops from Jeff.
Now, y'all were talking about it, Mike, but the key thing right now with that 07 car, Clint Bowyer, they had a good pit stop, but the 26 car, Jamie McMurray, really held him up. And you talked about that, Mike, all the way around. But when you look at this racetrack, and Larry talked about the uniqueness of the way it's laid out, 2 pit roads, we've got so many good cars on the back straightaway and so many good cars on the front straightaway, then we got a lot of other guys that are basically a lap down in between them, and that could determine who winds up winning this race today if somebody holds up somebody out of pit road.
Jeff, you're right. He was pinned behind McMurray, but McMurray was pinned behind the 8 cars just in front of him, and nobody was going very fast. Here are our Toyota top performers. Michael Waltrip picks up the lead under this caution. Tony Stewart right behind him. Denny Hamlin, all the Gibbs cars in the top 10 as we get ready to restart for lap 100.
Two things that will work out for Michael Waltrip on this. He knows he's a sitting duck with those older tires, but he's going to be out front. He doesn't even have to battle the lap down cars. Remember, he's one of those guys in danger zone. Chris, Jeff, and Darrell talked about in the pre-race. That's 5 points for leading, which could be important headed into Martinsville.
Michael Waltrip leads under green. Here at Martinsville, Tony Stewart wants the lead. He's got the bottom.
And I don't think Michael should push the envelope here. He's on much older tires. You know what? Find you a place and just kind of get down in there. And sooner or later, these guys, their tires will start going away on them. I think for all the conditions for the 55 car, that was probably a pretty good call by Paul Andrews.
All they have to do, Larry, is hope that a caution comes out before they run out of fuel or tires.
Well, he got those 5 bonus points, and I think that's what's important when you're sitting there 33rd in owner points right now.
Jimmy Johnson up for second. Kevin Harvick challenging for third. And you see Clint Boyer, who's led most of this race, right behind Denny Hamlin and ahead of Kyle Busch. Busch to the outside. Here comes Busch on the outside.
I tell you what, I am so proud to see that this racetrack already at lap 105, we have that second groove that you can get up there and you can pass. And Michael is trapped up there, and these guys are trying to just freight train him right now. He's trying to hold his own because he knows right there that's a battle for 4th, but he could go from 4th to 12th in a lap if they freight train him.
It's good strategy, Larry, but right now, you're right. Michael's in a position where his lap times are not going to be as quick as the driver is on new tires, and his idea of holding his own right now is not holding them up, trying to find a safe place to run.
Well, he just don't want to get freight trained too far back because he knows he's on those much older tires than all of our lead lap cars. What Michael needs is this thing to go about 25 or 30 laps maybe and get another caution. Then it would be mission accomplished. If we have a long green run, just like Darrell was indicating to me, he's in trouble.
But I'm impressed with Michael's run, Larry, because they're not just all racing right by him and passing him two or three per corner. He's holding his own.
I think this tire will allow you to do that.
Okay. Jeff Burton getting past Michael for 7th. And Dave Blaney almost got together with Regan Smith last time by. Watch that yellow 22.
Dave just had to jump back out of the throttle for whatever reason, and it just stacked up behind him. Of course, Dave is a lap down back in the 42nd position. Regan Smith in the 01 still on the lead lap. Now we're riding with Casey Kane. Remember, he had to go to the back of the field because of a pit road speeding violation, and right now he has made his way up to 29th position, but he's 2/3 of a lap behind the leader.
Eric Almirola in the number 8. Mark Martin returns to that car in Texas. Battling Juan Pablo Montoya, that's for 14th, with Carl Edwards and Paul Menard part of that mix.
Pretty impressed by that run by Eric Almirola. He has a start here back in August, but he got very little practice time. They lost an engine in practice, and he struggled in the race, but pretty impressed so far as he's up there in the top 15. Now we got a battle for 3rd between Denny Hamlin and 11. It's not going to be a battle that's going to last long. Hamlin will take that position away from Kevin Harvick. Matt Yoakum, is the Hamlin going away on the 29? Matt?
We'll get back to him, Larry. You hear Harvick pick up the throttle. as Kyle Busch gets past Clint Boyer. And he's going to, thought he might bring Jeff Burton with him, but Burton drops into Boyer's tire tracks because this battle's not over.
Kyle Busch has found a groove up there in that second lane. Now it looks like Boyer's going to prevail, but it just seems like Kyle, he has found something up there in that second groove. Now Boyer and Burton continue to work the bottom.
Tony Stewart has now led 17 laps, and he's out in front of Jimmy Johnson by 1 second. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Ooh, the plot thickens. Stay tuned for more NASCAR on Fox.